Well, it's holiday season, and experiencing challenges and overwhelm can be pretty common for many of us, and for a variety of reasons. Here are 10 tips on how to navigate the holidays. Tip number one, identify your triggers. Triggers are actually a way that our body and mind try to keep us safe, and triggers may not always be avoidable. By knowing what your triggers are, you can take some steps on how to best manage them, and knowing what they are is the biggest first step. And there are all types of triggers, and it's possible that we can have more than one, or a lot more than one. Do any of these feel familiar? Alcohol and or substance triggers, emotional triggers, environmental or sensory triggers, media triggers, mental health triggers, physical triggers, relationship triggers, social triggers, and trauma reminder triggers. Tip number two, recognize that your feelings are valid. Holidays can trigger stress, overwhelm, trauma responses, grief, loneliness, as well as joy, and for anybody. Even emotional numbness is a feeling. We can experience a combination of positive and negative feelings as well. Tip number three, take care of your physiological needs. This really ties into caring for our physical bodies. Our physiological needs are the things that we biologically need in order to survive. Are you giving your body what it truly needs? Are you getting enough restorative sleep? How much physical movement does your body get? Are you staying hydrated? Are you eating foods that are nourishing? Are you eating foods that you just really like and that bring you joy? And are you taking your medications as prescribed? Tip number four, practice mindfulness in the moment by checking in with your emotional feelings and the physical sensations in your body. Try to notice and acknowledge these feelings without judgment. Tip number five, prep your coping toolbox with at least several of the tools that work for you. Maybe your tools are grounding techniques, breathing, journaling, going for a walk, meditating, positive affirmations, or distraction techniques. And if one tool isn't providing you relief in the moment, try another. Tip number six, give yourself permission to set and maintain boundaries. You are not obligated to spend time with anyone who triggers you and who doesn't enhance your quality of life. And you have the right to step away and take breaks whenever you need to. You have the right to be selective of who you spend your time with and where you spend your time. You also have the right to change your mind at any time. Tip number seven, have an exit strategy. Do you have transportation and transportation funds if you need to make a quick exit? Have a backup plan of somewhere else to go if you need to. This can even include returning home. Tip number eight, reclaiming the holiday. Know that you have the right to claim the holiday however you see fit. This goes hand in hand with boundary setting. You can create new traditions that bring you joy and comfort. You can avoid celebrating holidays in a way that trigger you, or even opt to not celebrate them at all. And you can opt not to spend time with people who trigger you during the holidays. Tip number nine, seek support. And if possible, surround yourself with compassionate, understanding people. Reach out to somebody who you already know is supportive and let them know ahead of time that you may need to reach out to them. You can also text or call helplines because that's what they're there for. Here's some information for places to possibly reach out to for help. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is a 24/7 hotline. There are options to call, text, or chat with advocates. Their number is 1-800 799 7233. The National Human Trafficking Hotline is a 24/7 number that's answered by highly trained anti trafficking advocates. Their number is 1-888-373-7888. The Never Use Alone line is a 24/7 life saving overdose prevention line. The Never Use Alone line is a harm reduction peer ran service. The people that answer the phone are volunteers who have personal experience with substance use or have lost a child to substance use. Volunteers stay on the line while the caller ingests a substance in order to provide them assistance should the caller experience an overdose. Their number is 1-877-696-1996. The Suicide and Crisis Lifeline number is 988. This number is for people who are experiencing suicidal, substance use, and/or mental health crises, or any other kind of emotional distress. And this hotline is ran by trained crisis counselors. People who reach out to this lifeline can choose to call, text, or chat. Warm lines are staffed with peer specialists who can offer their hope, strength, and knowledge gained from their own personal experiences living with mental health or substance use issues. You can go to warmline.org in order to locate contact information for any of the warm lines that are listed in their directory. If you're looking for some additional crises hotlines and resources, you may also visit the apa.org website and do a keyword search for crisis hotlines and resources. Talkspace.com and BetterHelp.com offer teletherapy options. And if you're experiencing a medical or mental health emergency, you might also call 911 or go to the nearest emergency room. Tip number 10, put your coping plan in writing. Putting your coping plan in writing is a good way to gather your thoughts and help identify what and who can help you. And having it in writing makes it easier to access and remember what helps you cope when you need it. Here are some things that you may want to include in your coping plan if you opt to create one for yourself. Identify what motivates you to get out of bed every day, or at least some days. Maybe it's your children, or your family, or your higher power, or fulfilling your life's purpose, achieving your dreams. Maybe it's caring for your fur babies or plants. You can even consider taking this a step further. Identify what gives you hope. You may want to include your 3 most activating triggers, along with 3 coping tools that you can use to distract yourself, and ones that don't involve contacting someone else. Examples could be making art, going for a walk, meditating, yoga, watching your favorite TV show, breathing techniques, or positive affirmations. You may also want to include 3 people or social settings that can provide you a distraction when you're feeling stressed. And you may want to identify 3 people that you can turn to for support along with their contact numbers. Maybe you'll include other places to reach out to for help, like helplines, warm lines, your therapist if you have one, and 911. And if you think there's anything else that you should add, go ahead and include it. It's your coping plan. I hope you found these tips helpful with navigating the holidays this year and beyond. May your holidays treat you gently and compassionately, and may you get all that you need